This is great.
All right. I think we're back. Are we back? I got to turn down the gain on my mic. Okay.
I think we're back.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Are we back?
All right. Sorry, guys. I really wanted to actually see the chats that were coming in and be able to read what was going on. Apparently, the government was after me for my rebroadcast of InfoWars, and they shut me down. Just kidding. Oh, F. The super chats have disappeared. Let me get those. Prepare for the stream nuke incoming. Okay. God damn it. Yes, okay. Let me get back to the original super chats. Look at this. Guys, do you see what this computer has done? It's just endless Microsoft Edge browsers. Yes, I know. I'll install Chrome as soon as I get home and report immediately to the Google police. Okay, let's do some of these. Steven Severin commented actually yesterday, and I will apologize for that. 28 hours and 13 minutes to go. Give to me the stream now. Steven, I'm sorry I could not do that. Little did I know that trying to be prepared in advance for a live stream would turn into an abject disaster that gave everybody notifications. If you don't know, YouTube has this great little feature where it says notify my audience 1 hour before the stream starts. And then it just does it right away anyways. So, good job. Nicholas Melchiori says, if you don't show up soon, get ready to hear from my lawyer, Rick Nikita. Thanks, Nicholas Melchiori. I'm sorry to have taken so long. Gunsbeer Freedom 87 says, quick unrelated question. Can I use a Freedom of Information Act request to get any kind of tax information on a private company? Probably not, unless it was somehow like that tax information was involved in some sort of government litigation. Or somehow that information is held by the government. That's what Freedom of Information Act is used for. Advraz with a huge donation says, donation towards a new computer for rackets. Thank you, sir. I really appreciate it. And I apologize that the stream is going exactly as it should if I'm in charge. All right, guys. So, back to it now that we have caught up on those. A lot has happened this week. As you may or may not be aware, there was some interesting drama between Maddox and Dick Masterson. And some of these images that are flooding the screen will give you an idea of what that is. But I'll try and go back to where it started. And let's figure this out. Okay, so this is the less well-known goss, I think. I think this is less well-known, but there's this podcast competition that Dick is hosting between Not for Human Consumption and the other one would be the Thought Cops. Yes, Thought Cops and Not for Human Consumption. Both run by great guys. So that's been going on. This image over there, the podcast, Super Podcast Champion Edition Turbo image, was posted. It was posted on what? Reddit, to let people know about the podcast competition prior to any of this drama. Now, if you don't know about that, the Reddit post was struck down with the DMCA request on Reddit. And this was not posted by Dick. This was posted by a random dickhead out there. And it was this post was struck as a DMCA copyright claim. Let's talk real quick about that, because it's really interesting that someone, not Maddox, apparently, but someone else, I think it was Tito, did the copyright strike on this. First of all, Tito definitely doesn't own that little image. Second of all, neither does Maddox, right? Because Maddox may claim to have created that image, but that is what we call a derivative work. Anyone who grew up in the 90s knows that that is the font, style, and everything from Street Fighter II, specifically Super Street Fighter II Turbo Hyper Fighting Edition, right? Like, that's what they're using there. That is a derivative work of Capcom's intellectual property. If anyone owns it, it's Capcom. It is not Maddox or Dick. And it's certainly not Tito, who the only thing he owns is a lot of very small waifu pillows. So, and also, you know, a sex offender registry, you know, but that's for a different discussion. So anyway, this is not an image for them. They don't get to use it. They don't get to claim it. And to do so is actually a false DMCA strike. And that would really be perjury. But I've talked about this a little bit in the Mars Argo versus Poppy lawsuit. If you have derivative work, you can't claim copyright ownership of something that you took from someone else, even if that derivative work was given to you through permission, because the other person is simply doing a derivative work of someone else's creation, not yours. There has to be a substantial transformation, probably more than just fair use, to get to the place where you would then be able to reclaim a copyright. Fair use is not copyright ownership. It's just fair use of someone else's material. Creating something new is where you get ownership, or if you have permission or some sort of license that you have paid. It could have been Mundane Matt who flagged it. No, it definitely wasn't him. He told me. So, no, I do believe that it was specifically Tito. If I remember the conversation I had correctly, I believe it was him. But I could be wrong. I wouldn't want to go around defaming Tito, right? Like, that would be dangerous. So that's where, to me, this drama started, is Maddox's one fan decided that the Dick Show fans had or Dick himself had stolen Maddox's work. If Maddox did this as a parody, fair use, can Dick reuse that exact same parody and claim it as fair use? Yeah, that's the whole point, Tabmock99, of like the way derivative works apply under copyright, is once you have a derivative work, you don't get to say that someone else can't make a derivative work out of that. It's not yours in the first place. The original copyright owner would have the ownership rights to it. So, testing app, yeah, it works, RZEQDW. It does. So, there you go. Gats asked, but did he swear to God when he told you? He swore to everyone. Everyone. Isn't a false DMCA like super illegal? We're getting to that. Spookmeyer, so just bear with me. And Weefek has just said that almonds is gay. And the, I guess the plural disconnect between almonds and is would either imply that almonds is a specific person, or that Weefek is unable to construct English properly. So you can choose which one that is. He is Canadian, I would assume, since he's paying in Canadian dollars. Although maybe he just wants a discount on Super Chats, which is also okay. Captain Weeb56 says you're a national treasure, Nick. Thank you, buddy. Thank you. You too. Ian Sterling, this is too hilarious. I love how the voting mechanism on Sadcast Media broke due to the high traffic. We're going to talk about what's going on there as best I know. I have to go back in time in just a second and do some prefaces and disclaimers, because I don't want anyone confused, because I don't want any like random DUI-induced lawyers to send me more ethics complaints about like something here. So we'll talk about that in just a second. Jacob says, second the thought on almonds. Walnuts are where it's at. Ooh, that's fighting words for a lot of people. So, you know, you can deal with that. All right, let me go back and do... Oh, gosh. All right, so Gatscat says, would you rather only be able to listen to Maddox podcast for the rest of your life or have Maddox defend you in court on a minor felony? Oh, my God. Is a rope an option? A rope in a tree? Or even just a tall building that I can leap off of? I don't want either of those. That's horrifying. I guess the only thing would be having Maddox defend me in court. Maybe I could override him. Like, as a judge would ask me if the person representing me is competent and if I was confident in their advice, and I would definitely say, no, please jail him. Fred Rush MD says, rip Sky King, and fully agree. The man with the plan to barrel roll in a twin-engine prop. Would that we all were that brave. John says, on the whole ownership of copyright of derivative works, what about parodies of the likes of Robot Chicken sketches? Parodies maybe a little different, and they might be transformative enough to become new things. But it would have to be like, you would have to be transforming the transformed parts and not just being able to claim. It'd be really tricky. You couldn't just like say, well, or because the defense would be, no, I'm not parodying Robot Chicken. I'm parodying the source material for Robot Chicken. Any word about updates for the Damore case? Nothing recently, but I will be checking into it very soon. Having Maddox defend you in court is the same as a rope. Okay. Okay. Let me get to my quick disclaimers. I do not know anything about how any of this happened. I do not know the details. Dick has not disclosed to me any of the details. I am not Dick's attorney. I have given him no legal advice on this. The only stuff I have said to Dick in regards to anything on this stuff is merely, it's publicly available on Twitter in public tweets. I have not, I am not advising him in any way. So everything I say in this podcast about what happened is going to be hypothetical, and it's stuff that I have derived just like based on my own personal knowledge and logic and stuff like that. So I don't want to like lead people on to think that I have some sort of inside information. I do not, and I did not help Dick plan this or anything like that. I will just be talking based on my experience uploading things to the internet, because I've done that recently, not well, but and kind of going off of there, because it's important to note that the alleged illegality of this stuff kind of depends on what actually happened. And so I'm going to be making my best guesses and talking about the legal aspects in that regard. Okay, so that's what we'll talk about. Weefex says, full $2 Sarah and almonds are gay together. Would I give illegal advice? Oh, you know what? I have one more thing that I brought for this live stream. I brought something special. Where is it? There it is. I've decided that every time Maddox has just an absolutely abysmal day, the part of me that still likes the old part of him will take a minor amount of pity on him, and I will have a little bit of Fireball with him in solidarity. And the best part about Fireball is you can drink like an entire bottle and then drive a school bus because it's such a weak whiskey. So, Gatscat says, now that you cleared up the disclaimer, you need to wink so we know you still want us to follow those secret orders to keep attacking people. Hi, Judge. So let's let me do this. This is a thank you. My giant nose actually touched it, which was gross. This is a thank you to Maddox, and this is a small penance I pay for making money off of making fun of him. So here we go. Why would anyone do that of their own free will? Oh my gosh. It's disgusting. Okay. Okay. All right. Okay, guys. Let me organize my thoughts here. What is that? Thank you. Can you get me one of the glasses over there? Oh, God. All right. I have to remember the topics for tonight and try and follow some semblance of the order I mentioned in the description, because that's my guide. To make up for the horror that I just endured, I do have a little bit of Basil Hayden's here, which I will fix the world. Cheers, buddy. So these glasses are the Declaration of Independence on a glass. I figured them fitting for my law office. So, that's how it goes. How long is this going to go tonight? Probably not terribly long, but we'll see. I don't want it to go forever. I really don't. All right. Okay. And no, the fireball was not anything other than terrible. All right. So what do I have down for this stream? Hijacked show bumpers, stolen podcast fees, DMCA takedowns, potential defamatory statements, and one very deleted iTunes show. All right. Well, let's get started with all of this. And thank you all for bearing with me through the technical difficulties and also just my general presentation difficulties in keeping on task. So here we go. Like 30 minutes in. Oh, dear God. Someone get me a producer immediately. Okay, so the first thing I have is Hijacked show bumpers. And what I didn't have originally was that Super Podcast Champion Edition Turbo logo, but I wanted to make sure people knew that my opinion of where it started, I think it started there. I think that's where Maddox's salty feelings began, and I think that's what prompted the next things. Okay, so the DMCA strike happened against those. False DMCA does involve perjury. Like it can involve perjury. Let me back that up in a legal way. When you make a DMCA strike, you're asserting a good faith belief under oath that you are the rightful owner of the product and that the alleged infringing use that you believe it is infringing. Okay, so that's the thing here, and with that, I did mention you're making it under oath. It's just like a complaint or an affidavit. You're stating these things to be true because, and the reason you're doing it under oath is because a copyright claim, someone stealing a copyrighted work is a criminal offense, not just a civil offense. It could be a criminal offense as well. And so they want people to be bound by their word, bound to the truth, and not just false copyright flagging everything mundane Matt style. That would not be okay. So that's why there are potential criminal implications. Let me just say that the likelihood of someone getting prosecuted for this is probably low, very low. But it does provide a sort of safeguard as you are allowed to contest those things, and then false copyright strikes can actually if they're made in bad faith, can actually have negative repercussions for the person making it in the legal sense, and then in an extra legal sense. So what happens next? Of course, as you know, there was a show bumper added to episode 113 of the Madcast Media Network, where for approximately 2 minutes and 40 seconds, Dick basically advertised the Dick Show as a place where people could come. I shouldn't say advertised. We'll say promoted. Promoted the Dick Show as a place where people could come and find out his side of the story, find out what happened to the best debate. Now, from what I can tell, the logic behind the bumper, the claims made in the bumper, is basically that the iTunes feed that the best debate was uploaded to before it got Seth Riched was actually the original iTunes feed that was used for The Biggest Problem in the Universe, an iTunes feed that appears to have been established by Dick Masterson. Now, my experience with doing that is basically setting up the Apple Podcast, is setting up on the Apple Podcast Connect website, and then you go through a verification process, and then you basically direct an RSS feed. For example, I use SoundCloud because you can find all of my audio up on SoundCloud, and then SoundCloud actually sits there, and then iTunes Connect, the podcast app, is directed towards my SoundCloud feed, and it scans for thinks Clinton is behind it. I think we know Clinton is behind it. It scans for certain tags, and then if that tag exists, it will upload that episode to the iTunes feed. Same thing with Google Play. They work in roughly the same way. And if you notice, Maddox's Google Play for the best debate is still up. Probably because I think there's an overwhelming majority of people who are on iTunes versus Google Play. So I'm guessing that kind of factors into where those feeds are coming from. But the claim by Dick Masterson would be that he established and owns the feed for The Biggest Problem in the Universe. Now, I don't know when Dick established that feed. I don't know if he established it for The Biggest Problem in the Universe. I don't know anything about how that came to fruition. What I do know is that the worst case scenario is that the entity that owns The Biggest Problem in the Universe, that is co-owned equally by Maddox and Dick Masterson, owns that feed. So that is the worst case sort of denominator that exists. And let's talk about things from that. Did you happen to see that dossier folder that dummy on Twitter who is claiming Dick hits women posted? Yeah, the Windows 95 clip art. Yeah, I saw it. Dick, welcome to that person. Enjoy them. Hopefully they will start ruining your Twitter feed instead of mine. Okay. So I'm going to operate on the assumption that Dick created the best debate, or the Biggest Problem in the Universe iTunes page for the show. If that is the if that is the case, then the entity that owns Biggest Problem, again, that is co-owned by Dick and Maddox, owns the podcast feed. And if that's the case, both Dick and Maddox have basically, we'll talk like a key owner authority over what happens on that feed. But key owners of a company have a duty to act in the interest of that company. And this is the big distinction. I'm not using Internet Explorer. I'm using Microsoft Edge. And I usually use Chrome at home, but I'm not at home. So anyway, let's get back. So what happens is, in this case, as far as I can tell, Biggest Problem in the Universe actually owns the iTunes feed. Now, once the show breaks up, the entity does not dissolve absent a formal agreement dissolving the entity, where the assets of the entity are distributed to any interested parties, which to my knowledge is just Dick and Maddox. And they have a co-equal interest 50-50 in those assets. So when that show ends, the feed for that show should remain connected to that show. It should not be applied to a different show. The reason it shouldn't be applied to a different show, well, unless both owners consent, right? Because then they're using it for some sort of perceived activity on behalf of the entity. But when Maddox comes in and he takes the feed and directs it to pick up episodes of The Best Debate rather than The Biggest Problem, he has now acted adverse to the interest of the Biggest Problem in the Universe entity. That's a problem. So if Dick, as key owner, or as a key owner or key individual of this organization, decides to take action to, I guess, counteract what has happened, that is probably not a problem, if that makes any sense. I also have Brave, yes. I'm only mostly a boomer. Only mostly. But so the bumper is muddy, all right? The bumper seems to be this weird sort of concept between, and it's going to be lost in details for me as to who owns that iTunes feed specifically. If Dick developed it before The Biggest Problem and was simply allowing The Biggest Problem to use it, or if that was clearly communicated, then Dick owns the feed and not The Biggest Problem entity, and he can do with it whatever he wants. Welcome to it, Jamie Lynn Hughes. We were just ringing up the notifications as much as possible until you got here. That was the goal. So if that's the case, then Dick owns the feeds and everything I say is useless. But if the Biggest Problem entity owns the feed, then the bumper becomes a little bit weird. Although Dick did clearly say, if you want to find out what happened to The Biggest Problem, you can do this. And he's acting basically with the same interest that Maddox would be acting in that regard. The real question comes with nuking the feed. I believe that Dick nuked the feed, and the reason I believe so is going to come up on the screen in just a second. All right. Where are we? Oh, you stupid thing. Don't worry, the stream's not going anywhere yet. Let's see. This one. Holy cats. Let's shrink this down. All right. So, this is the hot goss that followed. Dick says, a recently converted Dick Show fan just sent me a new round of Maddox chat leaks wherein Maddox claims I'm racist against Mexicans and says I've beat women. Congratulations, idiot. You just lost your feed privileges. All right. That's where things become a little bit interesting. Can Dick legally nuke this feed? Probably. Let's be real. Probably. Unless he's violating terms of service here, he's not causing Maddox any damages, or at worst, it's some sort of de minimis damage. He's not actually taking down the episodes because of the nature of how the Apple podcast feed happens. It's simply pulling it from a different RSS feed. Like I said, either SoundCloud or Lisbon or whatever one it's using. So if Dick nukes the Biggest Problem Apple podcast feed, that doesn't do anything to Maddox's property in a substantive way. So let's get that out of the way first. This is presumptively legal, or if there's some sort of tort or damage that Maddox is talking about, it's probably what the courts would consider de minimis, right? Like just very little. He's not doing anything to the property that Maddox would have a claim to. Second, if the biggest problem is the owner, if the biggest problem entity is the owner, Dick can rightfully claim, in my opinion, that he has nuked the feed because it is working adverse to the interest of the entity of the biggest problem, and as a key individual with authority to make decisions for the biggest problem entity, he acted in its best interest and nuked it. That's how it goes, because the biggest problem is no longer an active feed, and the biggest problem episodes are hosted elsewhere, and the potential to monetize that is from the Apple feed is gone, right? Like the biggest problem monetizing through the Apple feed would be based on a subscriber count that you would then use for advertising dollars, and that there are no new episodes coming out, so the monetization options come from somewhere else. Lucifer Love Monkey says, real talk, Maddox can't afford a lawyer to fight this. I think that's probably very true. Longneck McGee says, how you doing, Rackets? Do a collaboration with the Little Irishman and the Racklets when you try to explain law to them. Law classes for elementary school kids. It would be a disaster. It would be a disaster. I think Lucifer Love Monkey's onto something, and I want to point that out, that this would be an extremely expensive, very complicated, highly technical fight. Guys, I can barely, me, a 36-year-old lawyer who grew up using computers, and my dad worked for, was a software guy for a very prominent computer company my entire life. I have been around computers, and I can barely function with OBS and Microsoft Edge, right? Like I am out there. Try and convince a 70-year-old California district court judge what's going on in this case, and try and convince him about the ownership of different entities, different feeds. Try and explain to him that Maddox isn't actually uploading anything to Apple. Like, just try and explain that to a judge, that Maddox isn't uploading to Apple, but Apple is rather pulling RSS data from a different website and merely reposting effectively links to audio. There's no way that you do this in a very definitive manner. It's going to be a toss-up, and it's going to be absurdly expensive to convince a judge of all of these things. They just don't have the technical knowledge for it. Like I said, even I barely understand how any of this works, and I am far more technically advanced than your average district court judge. Now, there are patent court judges specifically who have training in stuff like this, and that's why patent decisions are overturned at an alarming rate. When a patent decision goes through district court and then is appealed to the patent appeals court, it's like an 80% overturn rate. So that's, but that's because they have specialist judges who are trained in this stuff. Most judges are not. This would be extremely expensive and very high risk. Maddox isn't going to do anything about it. What he can do is what he is doing. Flail around like a helpless child in the deep end, begging any platform to hear him out, tweeting various people at Apple. Let's see. Let's find that shameful tweet, because it's just pitiful. Where is it? Here we go. This nonsense. Look at this. Oh my gosh. Whoop. Grabbing the wrong thing. I told you I'm not any good at this stuff. Here we go. Steven Wilson. Hi, Steve. Can you DM me? Thanks. Steven Wilson. This poor guy. He cares or has anything to do with any of this. It's absolute nonsense. Yeah, RZEQDW says, and I'm not going to try and pronounce it. When juries send a man to prison for burning Windows recovery CDs, you really think they'll understand anything about podcast fees? No, they don't have a chance. They don't have a chance. Why would someone dungeon master Maddox? But anyway, so the whole point of this, like, this is what his recourse is, right? He does a DMCA request to Facebook. He does this DM to Steven Wilson. Please help me. Please help me. And the best part of all of this, think about what happens when, let's go to like a hyper authoritarian Judge Dredd world where anyone actually cares about the internet drama of people like Maddox and Dick in a law enforcement capacity, right? Let's say the police show up to question Dick about this feed, and a fact finder looks into what's going on, and they just look back to the end of the biggest problem and find out that Maddox took the feed and used it for his own show. The answers write themselves. Like the wrong act happened a long time ago. And it's not old enough to where you could say, well, but that was a while back, and now, he stole it, but okay, now he owns it. No, it doesn't work that way. Gatsgat says, remember last time M reached out to a big company? He did it through counsel. It was fine. But anyway, so apparently, as far as I know, the feed is still down. I don't think Steven Wilson's going to be much help to Maddox at this point in time, but maybe I'm sure they have a mechanism to restore it, but why would they? Especially when they get the information and talk to Dick about how this all happened. If that happens, they're going to be really curious about it, and I think their only reasonable solution when an ownership dispute over the feed comes up would be to leave it nuked. Frankly, I don't think they would be served that Apple's interests would be served in restoring this for Dick or Maddox. So Dick holds the cards in that situation. Yeah. So Oza Pliskin says, I'd love to see him pull adverse possession on an iTunes account. That would be the most novel claim I could think of for a property court. Adverse possession is this idea where a piece of property is owned by someone, but someone else comes and possesses it adverse to the interest of the owner. And there's a bunch of tests that go into adverse possession, and actually the duration of adverse possession is longer and longer the farther you go west. So adverse possession in California is actually, I believe, the maximum statutory time, which is 30 years. So Maddox would have to be doing his terrible show for a really long time for an adverse possession claim to even come close to being ready for court. And then the problem is with adverse possession, you have to improve the property. And I don't mean that in like a slam, like I do, but not like in the legal sense. An improvement would be a physical improvement that is affixed to the land. So a fence, a sidewalk, a house, a building, something that is non-mobile that is attached. Uh-oh. What is this? I'm getting live updates. It gets better. Maddox this is from Dick. When was this tweeted?
5 minutes ago.
Oh, 5 minutes ago. And Dick, I'll never forgive you for not watching this stream. Maddox just replaced his stupid biggest problem in the universe official feed on iTunes with the feed for Best Debate. What a loser. Just start over with a new feed, dummy. Stop forcing your poopy content down people's throats. And here, we'll pull this up. Let me see. There it is. So you can go check that out right now.
He stole the feed from himself.
Yeah, so he has now stolen his stolen feed, or his new. He has stolen his feed from himself. What? And calling it official doesn't make it official. That's an interesting claim anyway. But I guess it doesn't matter, right? The only thing that would matter is now, maybe, and just spitballing here on the fly, Dick could make a claim of ownership to that feed as well, since it holds assets for the biggest problem in the universe, which is an entity that he co-owns. So Dick, maybe you should talk to a California attorney about drafting a demand letter for 50% of Madcast Media's advertising revenue that comes from iTunes. Just a thought, because it would be funny. Ryan English says Rekieta Law stays up all night drinking in front of strangers like a cam girl, but won't say swears. I also don't have the special cam girl underwear. Please drop bits in my stream for vibrating. Gatscat says your secretary deserves a raise. Hi, Miss Rackets. And actually, my secretary tonight is not Miss Rackets. She is at home, probably happily snuggled into bed right now. But I am here with much more masculine company. So, well, slightly more masculine company, I guess. I don't know. Idea for a new stream, literally Rekieta Law, but with a busty chick in a bikini on screen. I think that would get so many subscribers that iTunes or that YouTube would break. So anyway, let's move on. So I'm not a real lawyer, just a non-swearing cam girl. Pony Cordero says, had a great time at Road Rage, Atlanta. Have a drink on me and keep up the good work, buddy. Maddox would have to be smarter just to understand how much he has lost and continues to keep losing. Well, we all know that he can't do math. And we have the tests to prove it. So... Oh my. Oh my. All right. So let's move on to this picture down the middle. After the bumper, as you know, in episode 113, Maddox, of course, has his stupid debate show. And people, like a few of them, go and vote on that debate. And what Dick did was he went ahead and linked the super podcast competition for the See You Next Tuesday network to Maddox's voting, which is a perfect internet prank, right? Like, no harm is done from Maddox not having actual data on what his, 300 viewers voted for at the beginning of the show and what his, 100 people who cared later voted for after the show. All right? So, before tonight, the voting was about 5 to 6 times the average Madcast Media show's voting. Oh, no, wait. The average Best Debate show's voting. I almost said average Madcast Media shows voting, but if we averaged out voting amongst the other Madcast Media shows, it would drop to, I think, 30 votes per show, because the other shows don't appear to be watched by anyone at all. And the voting is really abysmal. And I feel bad for those guys. Why they attached themselves to a dying network with a vindictive and spiteful brand manager who is just plummeting the Madcast Media brand farther into the depths of coitus than it already was, is beyond me. Why, that Zach Waldman guy, why on earth he would think that Maddox's Madcast Media Network would be helpful to his show, I don't know. I don't understand. I don't know the other guys' names. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter why they did it. Guys, you should be independent. In my professional opinion, it might be better for you if you were not linked to someone who is, we'll use the buzzword of 2018, toxic. See coitus. Not the depths of coitus. Coitus. Read the Inferno. I'm probably pronouncing it wrong. My Italian is not the best. It was born on life support. The stolen stream. But anyway, I'm sidetracking and tangenting, and I desperately apologize. Dick linked the voting for the next See You Next Tuesday podcast competition to Maddox's voting polls. This is not illegal. This is not new. This is perfectly fine. And if you want evidence, just look up Vote for the Worst, right? Vote for the Worst was a troll group formed online that would organize an effort to mess with the voting of American Idol, an objectively more successful show than anything Maddox will ever be attached to, and with deeper pockets and better lawyers than Maddox has ever seen. Vote for the Worst operated for years. I don't know. They might have just moved on to a different target. I really don't know the fate of them. But the idea of trolling some voting system, some non-government voting system with no legal rules attached to it at all for your own private entertainment or personal gain is not, there's no money exchanged. There's no contract that's being violated. This is absolutely fine. So, see also Marble Cake, also the game. Please refer to him as Mundane Maddox from now on, please. That's good. Yeah. There's a term, any poll's a goal. Internet historian made a video about it. I'll have to watch that. I haven't seen it. But yeah, so the idea of poll trolling is not new. It's still funny. And it's extra funny when the person doing the poll really, really has some sort of interest in the results. And when I say interest, I don't mean monetary. I mean some obsessive weird interest in how this poll turns out of some fictitious idea that he's conducting something scientific. It's so funny. So anyway, prior to tonight, the voting tally was somewhere around 5 to 6 times the normal amount of people who had voted. But now, as you can see, it's 571,972 yeses and nos. It's a dead heat. And there was some tweet from Dick about someone not knowing how to update their WordPress plugins. I don't know what that means. Okay, I don't know if that means that Dick had some sort of access to the WordPress site for Madcast Media Network. I don't think so. Just a second, Gats. You're making my live audience laugh, and that makes me jealous. So what I think it means is that the plugin was overloaded by votes, and Maddox needed to do something to make sure the plugin had the appropriate values allocated to it. I'm going based off of old dated knowledge of how Visual C worked, but I know in C you had to assign bit vectors to values, and depending on how many bits you allocated to it was how big the number could get. And then if you didn't have a sufficient amount of data available, the numbers would roll over and get completely screwy. So I don't know what Dick meant by his tweet, but I would assume it's simply he's alleging the incompetence, as the voting tallies have been completely baffled. But there's one other possibility, and that's the possibility that Maddox has simply maxed out the values or come up with some sort of number code, some secret number code, 571972, to I don't know, screw with the See You Next Tuesday voting. I'm not sure. Who knows what master plan he has, but we can only know that it's a pirate involved. So Gatscat says Miss Racket's at home sleeping while he's at work with a transvestite masculine secretary drinking Fireball and talking about coitus. Yeah. I mean, pretty much. All right, let's see. So you're telling me a guy who plugs his pee hole isn't scientific? That was a good, biomechanical experiment. Who is your pick for newest See You Next Tuesday member? I haven't listened to either of their shows, so I can't pick based on the merits of the show. I thought that, Not for Human Consumption had a better presence on the Dick Show. Their takedown of the Not for Human their takedown of Thought Cops was rather well done, but Thought Cops has done a lot of funny stuff. So I based solely on the episode and their appearances on it, I go with Alan Foster from Not for Human Consumption, even though I really like Grant and I think he's a great dude. But hopefully they'll both end up on the network sooner rather than later. Okay, so Dick's job on Biggest Problem was keeping the old WordPress plugins up to date. Dick is alleging that Maddox failed to do that for his own site. Yeah, I think that's probably what he's done. And I think it's more that, these numbers got screwed up because the voting values got higher than they've ever been by a clear mile. Co-host confirmed I only take Canadian pesos. Maddox in his rapeless video said Dick wasn't updating WordPress. Yeah, I remember the accusation, which is funny. It's pronounced... wait, where did we go? Apropos. Don't make Larry hurt you. Wait, what's pronounced apropos? I didn't use apropos. If you're saying apropos of nothing or whatever, I don't think I use that expression. What are you referring to, Hamilton Burger? Neil Zabel says, getting here late. Can someone fill me in on what I missed? You missed me screwing up the beginning of the show. So the widgets on Madcast website use the old Biggest Problem credentials. Is that what you're saying? I don't know. Maybe that's what Dick is saying. Oh, hey, the real Lady Rackets. You're still awake. What's wrong with you? Sounds like Gadscats knows your routine. Well, maybe he's more involved than you know. Guns, Beer, Freedom. Well, it's been fun, but I gotta head to bed. Hope you get the stream fixed, buddy. The stream is fixed. Did you? Oh, my goodness. Hopefully you have not just been staring at a blank screen the entire time. Cameron Clark, Not for Human Consumption, crushed it on TDS, but who knows how that translates to a podcast? I sure don't. Me either. I haven't had time to listen to him. I have been slammed since coming back from Texas, so which was like months ago. Lydia Schwitz says, almost done with your sculpture. I am very excited to see that. Can't wait. Oh, inapropro as a bad word. Oh, okay, yes. Sorry, I thought you were referring to the apropos of nothing expression. Sorry about that. Upset baby. Oh, I'm sorry. It's not fixed. It's still rubbish. Thank you, Rajveer, for the expert criticism. It's much appreciated. All right. So moving on. This is the vote drama. This is, of course, little and just funny. And it also fit in my little template of how we have all these things laid out on the page with a nice vertical screen grab. But I think it's possible that Maddox is salty and just decided to obscure the voting numbers to really stick it to Dick. I think that might be part of it, too. We'll see. But then, of course, Maddox filed the DMCA claim on Facebook, which got Dick's account suspended and got the post taken down. The post is right here. I'll say it again. Go listen to the newest episode of The Best Debate in the Universe, number 113 on iTunes, and you'll be sure to get a spicy surprise. Now, this is weird. I am not sure how Maddox even came close to making a DMCA takedown request with a straight face on this post. There's no copyrighted material in there. It's literally a link to his show. Dick doesn't have a way to monetize the Facebook post or anything like that. So, who knows Who knows how that'll turn out for him, but you know, we have the ability to sit and dream that Dick can prosecute these things to his full benefit, just by having a greater pool of resources. And it's one of those times where you really appreciate that people with enough resources can pursue things that people with less would not be able to. But I mean, Maddox has clearly falsely alleged a DMCA on this one. And on that note, let me bring up the current status of that DMCA takedown. Gats says, "Don't worry, Rackets. I didn't mention the earlier bit where you were giving us tips about the best cam girls and vibrating panties, bro code man." Thanks, buddy. I appreciate the discreetness. Okay, so I don't know where to put this. I'm just gonna leave it over my face for a minute while we talk about it. I still got to shrink it a bit. Maybe I'll just move it over here. So Dick tweeted this out about the Facebook thing. I missed this tweet until I was looking through it today. Facebook got back to me about Maddox's false DMCA takedown, and I'll get this out of the way of the chat in just a second. My account is still locked out, though, just for posting this iTunes link to the best debate in the universe, episode 113. Check it out, iTunes.apple.com US podcast. So he must have posted this before nuking the feed, because you can no longer go to this link. So the response from Facebook is, "Hi, thanks for contacting Facebook. We have received your Digital Millennium Copyright Act counter notification. Based on the information you've provided, we will restore or cease disabling access to the content at issue within 14 business days from now, unless we receive notice that the reporting party has filed an action seeking a court order to restrain you from engaging in infringing activity on Facebook related to that content." And man, what I wouldn't pay to have Maddox go ahead and file that. That would be great. Like, we could just dream that Maddox would actually file in copyright court for the Facebook takedown of that. It would be a disaster. Oh my gosh. So that's where it's at. The post is coming back. It'll of course be funnier because the link will be broken at that point. It is annoying that Dick's Facebook account got locked out, because getting your Facebook account locked out sucks very much. And we really do have to have a discussion about deplatforming people and blocking people by the platform blocking people from having access. That's becoming a growing problem. And Maddox can't afford to file his nails. Ouch. Knock it off. Knock it off. All right, let's get to those defamatory statements. I want to do that. Go away. Can I remove that? Get out of here. Yes, I want to remove it. Niels Abel, legally speaking, how bad of a record is 0 for 3? It's a bad one. It's a bad one. All right. Here we go. So going back through this tweet, a recently converted Dick Show fan just sent me a new round of Maddox chat leaks wherein Maddox claims I'm racist against Mexicans and says I've beat women. Congratulations, idiot. You just lost your feed privileges. So here is the rub. We don't know what's in those images and what Maddox said specifically to that person. All right? So we have to take we can take Dick at his word that literally Maddox says Dick has beaten women. Okay? There's not really another way to analyze this. I guess I could put out the disclaimer that if Maddox said, and I think Dick is the type of guy who would beat women, That's a lot different. That is a very, very, very different thing. And it really depends on what wording he used and what he was trying to convey, and if the person receiving the information was supposed to take it as a statement of fact, right? We've talked about defamation before, but here are the elements of defamation. And this one, if what Dick is saying is a proper read of Maddox's comments, it seems to tick off the 4 elements of defamation. So the elements are a false statement of fact, right? So it has to be a factual statement. It cannot just be merely an opinion, and it must be false to a third party. So someone asked me on Twitter, I think it was, if it had to be like a public statement or some sort of proclamation, like if Maddox would have to post it or anything like that. No, the requirement for defamation is merely that one other party be involved. Of course, it helps your case if more than one party are involved or are the recipients. Fat Garbo, soy vey, sip for me shekels. Thank you, Fat Garbo, and may your boulder lugging days be smooth and easy. But, okay, so false statement of fact to a third party, and that requirement is one. A party of one does not have to be more than one. More people simply increases the amount of damages that are contemplated, okay? What is the third defamation? My brain is breaking here, guys. False statement of fact to a third party. That causes damage and for which the court can provide redress. Causing damage. Now, beating women is an accusation of a serious crime, right? Domestic assault or just basically assault and battery. Those are criminal acts. Asserting that someone is guilty of criminal acts when that is a false statement, that is a presumed damages issue. So you don't have to prove that you have taken damage from it. So Dick wouldn't have to prove that he's lost money from these statements or anything like that. It is a presumed damages situation, and then that the court can provide redress. Since the damages are presumed and presumed to be monetary, then the court can provide redress through money from Maddox. So it looks like Dick might have a case for defamation. The other, of course, checkboxes that he'd have to worry about would be, is Dick a public figure? I would be remiss to argue yes. I don't think he is, but going off of the... that seems inappropriate, Hot Snodge. Hot Snodge says, when did you stop beating off to your wife? And that is just not an appropriate question, sir. Not at all. And I may have to thrash you in man-to-man consensual combat, and we'll see. And you have consented, according to me. So we'll see how that goes. All right. The other consideration that needs to... Mikhail. Just a second. The other consideration is the public figure doctrine, which would be that the statement is made with either a malicious purpose or a reckless disregard for the truth. So if a court were to determine that Dick Masterson, a minor podcast celebrity, no offense, Dick, but trust me, you want to be a minor podcast celebrity in this instance, with a loyal following of some nebulous amount of fans, but I believe, less than 1 million, would be a public figure. Maybe they would find it that way. He's not an elected official, and he's not ubiquitous in the country, so it's hard to say exactly what a court would say. But if they determined you're a public figure, Maddox would have to act with what's called reckless disregard for the truth, or with malicious disregard for the truth, and that the standard is called actual malice. And I think this would would cap it off, because people know that Maddox has known Dick for a long time, and so him stating this would imply that he has knowledge of these acts. Now, of course, Maddox's defense would be truth, so if Dick runs around beating women, then I guess that's, it's just fine. That's not defamation at all. And Dick, that's very rude of you. So Mikhail Pospizik, whew, that's like a very Eastern European last name. Do you think that George/Maddox would be stupid enough to try to attack Dax at this point and thusly sign his own death warrant? Like, you mean physically attack him? Gosh, I can't imagine Maddox standing up, much less like going somewhere with the intent of physically assaulting anyone. So no, I don't think that that's a possibility. Let's see. Man-to-man consensual combat is the boomer way of referring to Mortal Kombat. The answer is I haven't. #brocode. Thank you, Gats. I know you always got my back, buddy. Ryan English, I'm sorry I ruined the class and decorum of your stream with a cam girl joke. It's okay. I'll forgive you. How about that dummy on Twitter saying that stuff about you and those dossiers on Dick? That dummy on Twitter saying that stuff about me and that the dossiers on Dick is certainly not associated with Madcast Media. Is certainly not like a little squealy pseudo-pedophile or anything like that. So I don't know. They hide under anonymity. They're certainly, definitely an African-American woman, a beautiful African-American woman, as they assert on Twitter, and certainly not someone appropriating the race and outrage of a group of people. That is certainly not what they are, and everything they say must be true, I guess. But they're going to say what they're going to say, and that's up to them. So, they don't seem to be having much of an effect, rather than spending their entire day thinking about how they can get me and doing it in poor fashion. Hamilton Burger says, Maddox, reckless? Nah. Hey, Keck. What's up, buddy? Nice to see you. Can you use MS Paint to draw a diagram of how public figures versus private works? Don't you dare. Don't you dare. I clearly cannot. Mikhail, it's Polish. Yeah. It's pronounced Pospieszczyk. Pospieszczyk? Good Lord. I'm so bad at my native tongue. How about that dummy? Oh, wait, we already had that. Did you ask that again? When Dick was saying M would either file another lawsuit or try and kill him, makes it seem like the third act of a comedy where the protagonist snaps and does something crazy. Would defamation streamed online be libel or slander? That's a really good question. Because it is both published and it is spoken. So I don't know. Probably slander. I'm gonna say. But it's got to be published. Jack Frost for Photoshop license. Oh, buddy, I wouldn't know how to use it. Pospieszczyk. Mikhail, someday I'm going to have you teach me Polish. Would a video of you writing a lie on a blackboard online be libel or slander? I don't know. We'll have to go to the blackboard in my house and try it out and see who sues me. For gods, maybe it depends on whether the stream is archived. I don't know. I'm not a law. I don't. And the main thing is, I think no one knows. Right? I think there's no judge on earth who knows the answer to that question, and they would be making it up as they go along. So that's how it goes. For Photoshop lessons. Thank you. All right. So that covers the defamation aspect of it. It really depends on what was said. in there. But the fact that Maddox is potentially lying about Dick in private chats to people is just, it's baffling. Like, oh boy. Maddox, looking kind of obsessed, looking a little salty. Maybe you should move on, pal. I'm just saying, start a feed, your own feed, instead of cannibalizing someone else's iTunes feed or your own or whatever. Just start one, direct your followers there, and let me help you get subscribers. This is free professional advice, not legal advice. Maddox, if you want subscribers, tell your side of the story in a funny way. And I guarantee the subscribers will flow in and people will listen to your show. I promise you. I promise you. Just tell your side of the story. You could have done this. It would have been a much better investment than dumping a bunch of money into a weird Michigan attorney who has a penchant for losing. It would have been a much better plan for you to just tell your side of the story rather than take the high road and pull what you've been pulling. Just tell your side of the story and everyone will watch and listen because they all would love to hear it. But, you know. M's goss is cruel and mean. Our goss is cheeky and fun. Not to him. It's not cheeky and fun to him. Keck, I don't think I can do a Georgia versus Denver live read and reaction because that involves a lot of profanity. Let's see. It probably wouldn't make a material difference. A good lawyer would plead both. Yeah, I think the good lawyer would plead both, and ultimately they're going to find the comments to be defamatory, and they'll just pick. The judge would just pick whichever one matters to them in the moment. But it is an interesting question, I think. Is there a difference between slander and defamation of character? Defamation of character is basically a catch-all for slander and libel combined. Maddox, like Christian, will never take sound advice that could net him a ton of money. He'll always choose the route of failure. Well, Maddox wouldn't want to taint his content with a bunch of advertisers who dictate what's going on, kind of like Little Platinum Books, who I think is going to be on his show next week. I don't know. Just use soft cusses and you'll be fine. I'm not going to do that on this stream, Keck. But maybe that can be worked out in the very near future. Fat Garbo says, shekel high, shekel low, the stones demand you sip some mo. Maddox is just the real-life Huey from Metal Gear. Just get him a pool. Mikhail says, didn't realize you were a fellow Polak. Cheers. Oh, and I hope that idiot Relinquish 1234 gets cancer. Maddox's model of Sonichu would probably be a perfect rendition of Sonic. Like, it would invert, I think. So anyways, guys, that's what's been going on. Let's see. We know that the feed got completely nuked. According to Dick, he's the one who nuked the feed. And as I explained before, I believe that there's very little legal recourse for it. I don't think there's anything Maddox can do about it. I don't believe it's a violation of Apple's terms of service for the owner of the feed with the login credentials to come in and take it down. And if I could theory craft a little bit, I assume Dick either had the credentials the entire time because Maddox never changed them, or he was able to do an account recovery because he's the person who set it up. I'm not positive, obviously, but in either case, if he's the owner of the account and decides to take it down, Maddox should be lucky he doesn't get an invoice from Dick for using his feed. You need that anti-swearing book from one of the older episodes of The Biggest Problem in the Universe. I don't think I need the anti-swearing book. I am the anti-swearing book. Is it true that you don't swear because you have to put $20 million in your family swear jar each time you do? Yeah. No, I have to approve a Lego set each time I use profanity live, I think. So I will keep asking till I get my Elmo read through of Georgia versus Denver. I can't drink on a stream where I'm going to read something that's longer than a couple minutes in Elmo voice. That would annihilate my vocal cords. Maddox is luckier that he doesn't get an invoice from Mysterios. The Therapist. No joke, I went 20 years without swearing for no reason. That's pretty cool, man, I think. I don't know. It depends if you regret it or not, but you shouldn't. And let me dispel the illusion. I do use profanity in inappropriate company. You guys are not appropriate company for profanity. I wouldn't want to shock your fragile ears. I don't know why you can't type Dick in the super chat. I have nothing moderated as far as like words that can't be said. I don't have any of that. I have the option to, but anything that is on there is automatic on YouTube. I know you guys are the most appropriate company, but I also know that I have children who have YouTube accounts and know how to spell my name. That's what I'm mostly talking about. And so I try to not do it just in case they ever were to run across it. So it's not you, it's the fact that I have children. So in your opinion, what is Maddox's next move? Maddox's next move has been the same move he always should have made. Move on. Like, move on. Don't sue anybody. You either make your content and literally ignore everything else. And I don't mean publicly ignore everything else and in private slander and defame people or accuse them of racism or send your little trolls out to bother people or anything like that. I mean, literally ignore it, full stop, or you've got to tell the story. And if you just tell the story, I think everybody leaves him alone. I really do. As long as it's not a complete and abject lie. But at this point, maybe he doesn't even know. Maybe he doesn't know. But his next move, as far as this stuff, is apparently he has redirected the feed from his archive of the Biggest Problem episodes. And so I guess that is his next move. We'll see. So Gatsgat says, Maddox enters comedy from stage right, takes a deep breath, preparing his best Seinfeld. What is it with different sides of the story? Poop. James Gibbons, pause doomed to laugh out loud and cry in not appropriate company. That chat does not allow me to say that, Andrew Gluck. Gatscat says he thinks to himself, they didn't laugh. He starts, there I was, just getting into cucking after my beautiful African-American girlfriend introduced me to it. Aren't they the company you swear in front of? No, I don't swear in front of my children. You have a Maddox on Drunken Peasants-esque list of banned words. I do not, sir. I do not. Why are you in top chat? I'm in live chat. This is in top chat. I can change it. The reason I am is because it defaults to top chat and it's annoying to go in and change it on the stream. Sorry. And it also doesn't matter. Like, I don't need this window anymore. I made this window before YouTube added the active chat feature. Kinster1790 says, sorry about posting that twice. My stream is all screwed. Also, I meant to state whether the dummy on Twitter has committed defamation against you and Dick, and if that is actionable. Whether they have defamed us, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. The person has made false statements of fact about me. Absolutely. And I'm not talking about the racist stuff. That's probably an opinion, but they have absolutely made false statements of fact about me. Sure. So they've defamed me. Whether it's actionable, defamation is always actionable. Whether it's worth the action is probably a different question. Also, their anonymity would complicate anything. And Twitter does have a process to subpoena for identifying information of other users, but, you know, that's a lot of work for someone who is just irritating. Like, that's the end result of it. They're just irritating. And also doesn't know the definition of disavow, which is just sad, really. Like, they should probably just look in a dictionary for 30 seconds and realize that me disavowing any pictures would be to not claim responsibility for my own actions that they disapprove of. So that would be weird. And also funny because Maddox seems to not know the definition of disavow either, unless he's asserting that someone else wrote the alphabet of manliness that he has disavowed. Maddox is a time-traveling inspiration for Cartman. Maddox should just take Dick to Judge Judy. Oh, what a disaster. Maddox has already posed as women before. I think probably more times than we know. I don't want to know what's on his digital camera. I don't think, Keck, based on my assessment of Judge Judy, I don't think I want Dick and Maddox to go on her show at all. You need to write the alphabet of lawsplaining. Well, guys, that's the end of the Maddox-related content. I have a couple other pictures here, but I really don't think they add anything to what we've talked about. If anybody has any questions related to the Maddox content, go ahead and drop them now. If anyone wants to talk to about anything else, certainly go ahead and bring it up, and we can talk for a little bit. But the stream is probably going to wind down fairly soon, and then I will drive home, and we will play some Twitch or something maybe. Please give a hot take on Judge Judy. Judge Judy is often wrong in her application of the law. That's what I got. Don't worry about that. Did I see that Maddox's website went down / is down? Is it still down? Maybe it's because it's that big 20-year anniversary. I don't know. Oh, does anybody else find it like just comically ironic that Maddox is begging Apple to help? Like, is that funny to anyone else? Like, that he whines to Apple, apparently, who hates him so much to specifically ban him from their stores, right? They banned his website. At least he claimed they banned his website. And I mean, it certainly wouldn't be, you know, that Maddox's website triggered some sort of auto filter that Apple would have at their stores. It's only that Maddox's website was specifically banned, and they're the worst company, and iTunes is the worst garbage that he just can't install because he has to do a custom install of it. You know, literally my grandmother has installed iTunes successfully. Maddox can't manage it, but he will contact them on Twitter for help when he has royally screwed up his brand. That's great to me, and never not funny. Do you think that if the world once again needs him, that Madcast will rise again, or maybe one of those Superman is dead dealies? I have no idea. You know, I think I understand 100% why Madcast is a retired character. Tab is a funny guy on his own accord, and I don't think he wants to be shackled to that particular parody. He would rather stand on his own artistic endeavor, I think. So I don't know. Maybe he'll bring him back for something. I don't know. It probably depends on how Maddox acts, right? Like that would be the trick. Are you starting beef with Judge Judy? Sure. Come at me, Judge. Please tell us what fatality you think Dick would have if he were a Mortal Kombat character. If I'm being 100% honest, I bet it would be a friendship. I bet it would absolutely be a friendship. Because I bet if Maddox apologized, like maybe not, but I bet if Maddox apologized to Dick, after a little bit of time and just said, you know what, I completely screwed up, maybe publicly or something, that Dick would probably eventually be like, all right, whatever, and get over it, like really quickly. He seems like that type of guy who can just move past those types of things. So I'll go with a friendship for a fatality. Why can't Maddox human? I don't know. Maybe childhood trauma? It's hard to say. I must have missed it, but what's with the voting? I don't know specifically what's with the voting. Speculation was that either Dick messed with the WordPress plugins that Maddox is using because he never changed his credentials, or that Maddox ineffectively maintained his WordPress plugins and they broke with the high volume of voting that the show never experiences. One of those two. Solid Snake, will you talk about the quartering situation? I'll talk about what I can. I'm really trying to I do have another quartering video queued up. And by queued up, I mean I queued up to record. But I want to talk about some updates in the case. I want to talk about, the bar, the martial arts instruction, stuff like that. And do a good comprehensive content update about what's going on. But I don't want to just throw out videos like with an idea of view counts. It's very tempting to do so, but I want to add substantive content to it. So like I'm really annoyed for example, with Mars Argo for not serving Poppy yet, because I would love to update people on that and I get lots of questions about it, but there's nothing to say. So the quartering, I have asked Jeremy for an interview. He has said that at this time he's not doing interviews because his lawyer has stated that he should not do interviews. I have also asked for an interview with his lawyer, who I believe is Steven Crowder's lawyer, and I'm hoping that at some point in the future when they're ready that he would be happy to come on the show and talk about this stuff, because I think he'd make a great guest. So there's more stuff for the quartering planned, but I want to be operating on good information for people and make it worth making a video. Segway says, off topic, but you never gave me an answer. Was Keon soliciting when he left Dick a voicemail offering his help? Genuinely wondering. I don't know. I don't know the nature of the voicemail. And I don't know the California rules. Even if he was soliciting, I don't know if the rules at that point in California would consider that an unlawful solicitation or anything like that. So without having the voicemail as context, I can't properly answer that question, and being unfamiliar with the rules. In Minnesota, it's very sketchy for me to call someone and offer them legal services, but leaving someone a voicemail and saying, hey, if you want, if you're interested in talking about this situation, you want to give me a call back, might be okay. It's really, really weird. Vladimir Ivanovich says consistency is difficult. I don't know what that's in reference to.
It was the Maddox versus Maddox bumper from the old show that Dick ran one time.
Oh, okay. And then Bo Pearson says, I'm sitting here in my car with the battery dead. Fun times. My battery is Maddox's career. And if Maddox made a career out of battery, it would be the funniest thing on earth. Because I think just about anybody could take him in a fight. When are you going to make use of my list of TV judge clips? Soon, buddy. Soon. As soon as there's not like a massive goss stream. I love doing the the reviews of court TV. They make me laugh. No, nobody else here finds it funny. I don't know what that was in reference to. I'm sorry. Clay's roommate. Maddox will whine to anyone who will listen. Yes. Yeah, pretty much. And it shows in the repeated release of those chats. Ryan English says, this is my favorite novel. Brilliant. Just getting a blurb for my next novel. Pardon me. Well played, sir. Well played. Oh my goodness. I'm so far behind in this chat. A friendship because he was so charming, he stole Maddox's girl, causing his death. Dick's Mortal Kombat finisher would be a mercy so that Dick could beat him up some more. You're going to give a brief comment about the new documents from today. Wait, what new documents from today? Are there new documents today?
None dropped on Lawbot.
Gats, what are you talking to? What talking to? What are you talking about? What new documents? Did Princess Matt ever get arrested? No. Cops don't seem to do work when they have, credible eyewitnesses and stuff like that. Sean, you want to do an interview? We can talk about stuff. Yeah, I'll do that sometime for sure, buddy. Do you think you could change Steven Crowder's lawyer's mind? Why would I want to do that? Half Asian lawyer Bill Richmond is top tier. Kian offered free services. Was R.E. Maddox and Apple. Oh, yes. Consistency, Maddox and Apple. There you go. Why was the audio effed on the earlier stream? You mean why was it really loud? Because the gain wheel on my microphone got turned, I guess. Maddox would legit get his butt kicked by every kid in the Little League World Series. Yeah, I think so. I think you could have stopped by every kid. Hey, what's up, Wizard Frog? Let's see. Lawsuit.com. Wait a minute. New documents dropped today.
Oh, there were.
Can you do me a solid and type in lawsuit.com?
Oh, yeah. Sarah Matz.
Hold on. I'm pulling up the documents right now. We'll do this live. What? It didn't go through.
We'll do it live.
You have to do enter. You have to hit enter. This is Microsoft Edge. What do you think this is, Chrome? You think
it be able to think what I want, and it should do it.
You think it stores the commands you type in when I switch tabs? This is Microsoft. Hold on, I'm pulling it up right now. New documents served today.
5-hour live stream confirmed.
Notice of settlement with proposed order, counter order. Okay.
It's just like the old shows.
All right, hold on. Hold on here. I don't have these pulled up in a thing yet, so just give me a moment. And I don't have my chat. Hold on, let me pull up my chat window. Big city lawyer too good for typing. No, if you just saw the janky setup in my office right now, you would understand. Wizard Frog says, my lawyer just failed a breathalyzer while giving my opening argument. Should I ask for a new one? Yeah, we'll do it live like you're a reporter on Fox. Screw it! We'll do it live! Your browser hasn't mined enough data to know what you want to do before you click it. Okay, please take notice that pursuant to New York Court Rule 202.48, do you guys want to see this document? Should I pull it up? The individual practices of the Honorable Charles E. Ramos, JSC, and this court's order entered June 28, 2018. The within is a true copy of a proposed order granting defendants Dax Herrera and Greg Bozer's motion to dismiss and denying plaintiffs George Zunian and Jane Doe plaintiffs' cross motion for jurisdictional discovery to be presented to Charles Ramos for signature on August 27th. Please take further notice that pursuant to the individual practices of the Honorable Ramos, a copy of this notice and the proposed is also being submitted directly to the chambers. Fantastic. Next. We have an early morning tomorrow. We will be driving 4 hours. Don't say why, just letting you know. Oh, my goodness. I don't want to do that. The drive. The reason why is not why I don't want to do that. I just don't want to drive anywhere for 4 hours. Okay. A motion having been made by Dax Herrera, Foundation Digital, and Greg Bozer, and having duly come to be heard on May 16th for an order for dismissal. What? What is your problem?
Where are you going tomorrow?
I'll tell you later.
Okay.
I'm finding out about this now. Live TV! Live TV! My bank accounts are plummeting! No, I'm just kidding. Okay, so this is dismissing plaintiff's complaints for lack of jurisdiction, improper service on Bozer and Foundation, dismissing to all defendants on the grounds that New York is an inconvenient forum, dismissing plaintiff's complaint with prejudice on the grounds that plaintiffs have failed to state a claim for relief. Ooh, that's tricky. Hold on, I'm skimming. Does that mean they had planned to move ahead in California? Hold on just a second. Just blast some Prince on the drive. I recommend going from Sign of the Times to the Love Symbol album. Didn't Landau disavowed his client, anywho? This is just saying, shut it, Maddox, you can't refile. This is turning into the lawsplaining equivalent of Geraldo opening up Al Capone's vault. Oh my goodness. Okay. Hereby ordered plaintiffs. So this is a proposed order. Plaintiff's first cause of action for invasion of privacy, injunctive relief, and fifth cause of action for tortious interference with contract is dismissed as to all defendants. And okay. Do you think Maddox knew he effed up when his lawyer hit a fire hydrant while trying to make it to court, or when he turned in documents with condensation ring of a beer bottle? This is the... So this is just... Let me read this notice of settlement again. I think this is just an order clarifying, or a request for an order clarifying the order given in at the oral argument with the transcript. And so what they have done is drafted up this proposed order, which lays out the grounds for the dismissal. And that's the interesting part to me. I don't want to talk about it too much, frankly. Yeah. I'll talk about it later once this order is signed. How's that? It's pronounced Geraldo, you presumably Mexican hater. Wait, so am I presumably Mexican or a presumably Mexican hater? Wait, that's still presumably Mexican. Am I presumably a Mexican hater? I think that's what you're trying to say. But they mentioned cross-jurisdiction discovery meeting on August 27th. Yeah, so the cross-jurisdiction discovery meeting was, must have been set up prior to the hearing that dismissed everything. I'm not really aware of it. Because I don't remember that being in any of the documents. You know what you are. I don't know what I am anymore, buddy. I really don't. Here's the thing, guys. I'm going to wait for the judge to sign this order, and then I will go through it specifically at that time. What I will say is my gut tells me that this is just a request for the judge to clarify what was stated at oral argument when the judge dismissed the case, and to put it in writing the specific grounds for the dismissal, of which there are multiple. I think they want that, and I think that having those grounds could be insulation against filing in California, and that's probably why they want it laid out. So I'm going to leave it at that. And I have reasons for doing that, which we will discuss once it's signed by Ramos. All right? How's that? Your delaying tactics are making me Microsoft Edge. Bo Pearson said, is there a way to see where someone is incarcerated? There's a lawyer who scammed his clients in the slammer that also owes my storage company money. We need him to sign a form. Any help? You can check individual county lockups for county jails. Prisons, I believe, have a roster listed somewhere. You could contact the court in whatever state that he was incarcerated, or whatever state he was convicted. Yeah, that's what I would do. Start there. If that doesn't work, send me a private message and maybe we can find him. So, let's see. Is literally everything a valid reason for dismissal? Is Dick being sued again? As far as I know, Dick is not being sued again. No, I'm 99% sure this order is just a clarification of the dismissal and then listing of the specific grounds for dismissal. And then once the judge goes ahead and signs that order, it'll clarify the specific grounds for dismissal. And then those will be incorporated in an order that is clear and concise, rather than one that was sort of a muddy oral argument order. That's what's existed to this point. And as for the scheduling, the jurisdictional cross-jurisdictional discovery conference, I think that was probably something that was calendared a long time ago. I know in Minnesota, when you're going to do a civil lawsuit, you estimate the length of time for discovery, and then you set a requested trial date. And so then they calendar out things like your discovery conference and stuff like that. So this was probably calendared out a long time ago based on the estimated time to complete discovery. If I had to guess, not being familiar with New York procedure. And now they're just wanting to, they're acknowledging that will not happen because the action has been dismissed and there's no grounds for the discovery at this point. Okay, yay, Nevada is fun. I will bore you on Facebook with this if that doesn't work. Sounds good. Wizard Frog, if I'm blind, deaf, mute, and cannot feel anything, can I still be served a lawsuit for calling Maddox a cuck? Probably. Please drink heavier. I can't. Clay, I can't drink heavier. I have to drive home tonight since I'm at my office. And I am certainly not a Landau. Do you really think Maddox telling his side of the story would end things? Do you not remember the last time he talked about his split with Dick? No, I said in a funny way. If he just told his side of the story in a funny way rather than in a malicious way or a way where he lies about things, I do think people would want to listen. I think people have wanted to listen to that all along. And I think that would be a good way to start. Dick! Yes! You missed it all. You missed everything. What were you doing? How dare you?
Learn how time zone.
In real life New York court, whose legal responsibility is it to make the law and order doon doon noise? That's the paralegal's job. You're putting the kid down. What, do you have the little Irishman with you, buddy? Yeah, Dick, sorry to let you know, you're being sued again, and you're going to lose this time.
Dun, dun.
Dun, dun. You're being hauled back into New York. Oh, I see. Yeah. Oh, I saw you were on Twitch, but I was running around all night, so I didn't really have access to reliable internet until my stream, and reliable is always a funny term. How is this case different from the Bittersweet Symphony one? I have no idea. I'm not familiar with the Bittersweet Symphony one. Like that song? Bittersweet Symphony? Dame Pesos learned English just to trash talk Mundane Matt. Nick, be careful. Someone from the Madcast network might try and call the cops as you drive home. Okay. I guess they could try. Let's see. I love the term oral argument. All right, guys. I do think I should probably wrap it up. We've been on stream. Well, it says an hour and 45 minutes, but effectively it's a little longer because I screwed up so bad at the beginning. But thank you all for joining me. Of course, thank you for watching. Hopefully this helps sort out some of the... is really out of, sorts. But because I don't have just a document to go off of. We've got all these stupid pictures and screenshots and stuff like that. But hopefully that answers any legal questions about what's been going on. The long and short is really there's not much to do. There's not much that Maddox can do at this point. If he were to file some legal claims and see what kind of craziness a lawyer could come up with, that would be interesting, but I don't think it'd be very effective. See you later, Wizard Frog. What's your question, Rajveer? I missed it. What's 1 + 1? 2. It's 2. You've left me baffled and puzzled. All right, guys. Well, thanks for joining me. I'm going to wrap up the stream here. I have to go home and talk to Lady Rackets, and I have to see if I can actually Twitch tonight. I would love to, but she told me I have an early morning all of a sudden. Would there be another lawyer dumb and drunk enough to represent him? Guys, there is always a lawyer drunk enough to represent someone. The question is, do they have any money? Did they have any money? And I don't know that Maddox has any left. But legally speaking, what is 1 + 1? Whatever my client needs it to be. Fudge Crumpet, you missed the whole thing. Happy to be of service, Lakembra. Tweet if you're going to Twitch. I will. I will tweet it out. I don't know what I'm going to Twitch if I have time. Sip you big... I got nothing left. Oh, wait. I got to drop. Gas money. Thanks, buddy. Whisper sweet nothings to her ear. You can get out of it. I don't think so. Not on this one. Catch you later, Severage. All right, guys. I will talk to you soon. Thanks a bunch for watching. Peace.